See, after that, even with the mangled physical evidence of Jason Voorhees, I was still set to the institution. And, they bounced me around for a while until they would eventually put me up at Pinehurst.
Oh, Pinehurst. It's a top-notch facility, if I may say so myself. In fact, one of my clients, Victor Fadden, was sent up there.
And well, that explains a lot, don't it?
Come again?
Well, Victor Fadden killed Joey Burns on my first day there. He hacked him up with an axe. And, that's really what set up the whole copycat killer Roy Burns. He went and modeled his killing spree after the Jason Voorhees murders. And it's all because of a patient that you previously had?
Oh, well, fuck me sideways. Vic was doing so well. Anyway, so you were caught up in this violent mix-up that cost the lives of, I believe, 20 people?
Yeah, I was. I almost didn't make it through this one. I mean, I did. And, they still had the fucking nerve to tell me that I was crazy, even after everything that I went through. They had Roy Burns' body there. He was the one who was going around killing people disguised as Jason. They all thought that I was the one doing it. And they still think I'm fucking crazy.
What is up, clean freaks and filthy friends alike? Welcome to the 5th week of the giant Friday the 13th summer special. This is, of course, the single largest Friday the 13th review series ever brought to YouTube. Brought to you by not only myself, but Good Real Hunting, Nick Cooling, Chase at Moser Movie Reviews, Robbie at Reviews and Rankings with Robbie Sobel, and we have the watch parties over at House of the Living Dead. All the links to their videos for this week will be down in the description below, as well as links to their channels. Be sure to check all of them out because this is one time where teamwork truly makes the dream work. Not that it never has before, but this time specifically, man. So go to check all those out. You will not be disappointed. This is all also in the build-up to the giant ranking on Friday the 13th, the day in August, where we will be ranking these films after we are done reviewing them. Again, this is all happening each week, building up to Friday the 13th, the day in August. Anyway, let's get on to this week's film. So, after again wanting to mostly and definitively put a conclusive ending to the franchise and Jason as a character, there's a certain amount of dollars that have to be made at the box office, about 33 million of them. That makes them look at the final chapter and say, you know what? Well, why don't we just do one more? It's not gonna hurt, so why not, So, 11 months go by, after the final chapter comes out, and we are given this film, which is honestly one of probably the most polarizing of the Friday the 13th films. That is going to be Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Let's check it out. Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, stars John Shepard, Melanie Kinnaman, Shavar Ross, Richard Young, and Marco St. John, and was directed by my spiritual uncle, Filthy Danny Steinman. And this film is set about 5 years, I think, after the final chapter, and this one is really where the general buttfuckery of the Friday the 13th timeline really starts. We're following Tommy Jarvis, who is now on his way to a halfway house facility of sorts called Pinehurst. Of course, it's going to be a secluded, out in the middle of nowhere type facility, and that's exactly what we need in this franchise. Honestly, without being facetious or anything, it really is sort of a big part of the formula, so it makes sense. Of course, while Tommy is there at this halfway house, very traumatized by the events ending the final chapter, the Jason murders really start up again. And it's not so much that they're explicitly Jason, but there's a damn pattern to them that is very reminiscent of Jason Voorhees. And this one really, with Jason being conclusively dead, we're left asking, who is doing these killings? Is it Tommy? Is it the sheriff? Is it Matt? I mean, there's several people who it could be in this film, because this one is presented very much like the original film as a bit of a whodunit. But getting into what I think this one does a little bit better, and frankly, getting into the positives overall, this one actually gives us red herrings and kind of plays around with it, I think, a lot better than the original film did. Being that it's supposed to be a whodunit, you need suspects. Again, we've got Tommy. We've got the sheriff. We've got Matt, one of the administrators at Pinehurst. We've got these people too. There's just a slew of these guys. I mean, everyone here is going to look just a little bit creepy for at least a scene. That's almost a fuck of a lot more than they did in the original film, but probably not really. Probably just trying to give this one a little too much credit, but still, that's one thing I think that it does a little better, is this one actually gives us a little more to work with on the whodunit angle. Also, the characters, I'm going to tell you right now, are mostly a mixed bag. I think this film has the single most memorable bunch of characters, and at the same time, probably some of the most forgettable characters. So you kind of have the best of both worlds as far as that token is concerned. You got our three main characters, Tommy Jarvis, who doesn't speak a whole lot, but he's fucking badass with his ninja skills. You've got Reggie the Reckless and his scream that could fucking make a dog's head explode. Pam and that disappearing sweater in the rain. You got the Hubbards. You got Demon and Anita. And then you have, you know, characters that are kind of memorable, a little more so, or a little less. Like Violet with her robot dancing. Jake and Robin with the weird, not really weird, but more so awkward pickup line. I want to make love to you. Yeah, that's kind of awkward. I feel terrible that Jake got laughed at by Robin. The characters get more forgettable as we go on. I mean, sure, you get some random cannon fodder in there, like the greasers, and then Billy, the dude riding passenger in the van that drops Tommy off at Pinehurst. For whatever the fuck reason, he comes back to pick up his girlfriend or a date to go do coke and party. They get killed. Totally random scene. But yeah, we get completely forgettable characters like, holy fuck, Raymond. Do you remember this guy? Because I almost certainly fucking don't every time. And then this paramedic guy here, you almost forget him too. These characters are really great at the same time, and then there's just nothing to offer there. So the characters I can't hardly complain about legitimately. The story too, I think, I mean, you kind of can guess that I really do appreciate this story. It takes the original film and it does it in a different kind of way. Sure, you could say that very much about the second film, but this one, it takes the whodunit formula, and you'll see come the end of this film, whether or not it makes a whole lot of sense once you really start to sink your mind into it. I think this one does pretty good at doing what they did in the first one as far as the, well, spoiler alert, revenge tale goes. I think that while in execution it didn't work too well, it was pretty cool on paper. And if you turn your mind off, you can really, I think, enjoy the ending here. Because we're generally with a whodunit, you're supposed to be surprised by who the killer is. But you go into this movie expecting Jason, you're more surprised by who the killer is not. But if you look at the blue markings on the hockey mask, you could tell that it's definitely not Jason. Or maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. That's another interesting thing too about this film. I think Roy Burns in the Jason getup is a really interesting deal. On any given day, he could be a better killer than Jason. Almost certainly a better killer than Pamela. In his single outing, he killed more people than Pamela, for one. In a single film, he killed more people than Jason did in his first two films. He might be about tied for Jason up to the final chapter now that I think about it. No, Jason about a quarter of the way through a final chapter, I think, is where he and Roy tie up. So Roy is just a badass killer Also, Roy is the paramedic. For those of you who didn't pay closest attention, that we only get a few shots of. Of course, when Joey is hacked up over the chocolate bar, he's there. He's probably the second most distraught person after some of the Pinehurst residents, looking on at his fellow paramedic like, you son of a bitch, don't you make jokes about this dead boy. Gives the camera the nice little evil stare down. Also, when the sheriff is asking, what the hell's going on here? You got Roy passing by, you talking to me, Sheriff? It's like, well, you don't talk. You didn't talk in that last shot. Why are you talking now? But no, Roy, I think, as a killer is fucking badass. Roy's presence as Jason, which was actually played by Tom Morga rather than Dick Wyand, I think is pretty badass. Pretty interesting, more so. I would say more interesting than badass now that I think about it. Because, again, you have the hockey mask that instead of red markings uses the blue markings, which is a fucking sick looking blue. I love that. He's also got the jumpsuit, which is very similar to the Michael Myers getup. I love that. Even cooler knowing that Tom Morga would go on to play Michael Myers for a short bit in Halloween 4 as bandage face Michael Myers. And I think he did a few other bits and pieces throughout there before they fully settled on my man George P. motherfucking Wilbur. Ha! I knew I could reference Halloween in this one. Anyway, Tom Morga is just, I think, pretty badass in his portrayal. Of course, when you compare it to the Jason portrayals in general, because he actually does play Jason in some of Tommy's dream and flashback sequences, sure, he could come off as a little middle of the road at best. But I think in this film, and with what Roy Burns as a character is, and what his capabilities are, I think that Roy Burns is a very well played killer by Dick Wyand and Tom Morga respectively. And before anyone wants to jump on my ass about it, Tom Morga also had done the fucking pickup truck stunt in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I know we're not talking about that, but I know there's going to be one person out there who wants to say,
yeah, when are we going to talk about this?
I did. There you go. I love you, but shh. Anyway, the setting of Pinehurst also is pretty cool because it's not what you think of when you think of a sort of psychiatric facility in a horror movie, or I don't know, maybe almost in real life. You probably wouldn't think, oh, just some isolated place in the woods where it's little open ground, whatever. It's pretty cool. I know that there are actually some places kind of like that, but it kind of makes sense again, as I said, for Pinehurst to be out in the middle of nowhere because it's the Friday the 13th franchise. It won't make sense if we're out in the open, out in public. A couple films down the line, those words are going to come back to haunt me, aren't they? We'll see. It's also interesting some of the other non-Pinehurst locations that we get. Of course, we get the cemetery in Tommy's Dream, which I want to mention real quick, was Corey Feldman's neighbor's backyard in real life, because I was like the one scene they could actually get Corey Feldman to appear on, and they had to set it up in his neighbor's backyard. Really cool. Behind the scenes bit there. I'm sure everybody knows this by now. I think this one almost feels like it explores the most with its sets up to this point. I mean, sure, we get a little bit of back in town in the first one, back in town in the second, third, fourth. You know, they've all got a pretty good track record actually of fucking showing you just a little bit of extra, but throughout a little more constantly, I think we get a better idea of the community. Small doses, granted, but we get a better understanding of the community in which these characters live, and I think that's pretty cool to sort of get that. Also, we get the investigation by badass sheriff in this film, Sheriff Tucker. I think the single most badass sheriff in this franchise. Let me think about that, double check. No, second most badass sheriff in this franchise. He's really cool. Got a really cool demeanor, I think. He's like, I know who it is, man. I know who's killing these people. It's Jason Voorhees. And the mayor's all fucking pissy with him about it. Like,
That's a Voorhees is dead.
yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting bit, because we sort of get the investigation, which we don't really get thrown in balls deep into up until this point and hardly ever really after this one. I mean, you get different varying degrees of it. I mean, of course, in the next film, but that's neither here nor there just yet. Fucking let me sing the praises of part 5, god damn it. You get the trailer park where Demon and his girlfriend, Demon being Reggie's brother, they're at this trailer park in their van. Maybe Jesse from Bride of Chucky is out there somewhere too. But, I mean, you get this really cool... I think it's really cool, and I think most people can actually agree on this too, is that you get this badass scene where Demon has to take a crap because them damn enchiladas. So he's out there singing on the shitter with his lady. Who would have thought that a shitting duet could be this romantic? Yeah, sure, the reveal of Roy was a little bit silly come the end of the film, but don't let that take away from the third act. I mean, you've got every one of the nuts killed at the Pinehurst facility, save for Reggie, Tommy, and Pam are the last characters who are known to be alive. Tommy's kind of out missing. Is Tommy the one killing all these people? Whoa! The Hubbards are dead, sadly, because they were fucking hilarious as all. Pam and Reggie are running through the little wooded area. Rain's coming down. Pam's sweater keeps disappearing, and you get nice little glimpses there. Anyway, fucking move on. Reggie screams like a girl, runs off. There's this badass moment where fucking once they get back to the facility, Pam is finding dead bodies throughout this whole journey through the woods. I don't know why I called it a journey, but, you know, she's finding all these different people dead. She finds Matt dead. Oh, no! Finds the forgettable paramedic dead. Reggie's grandpa, don't tell Reggie because that's going to fuck him up. He doesn't even know his brother's dead yet. You got Reggie fucking shooting out of the barn in this big old tractor. Knocks Roy on his ass. He and Pam, instead of running him over, they just run into the barn. As you do in these kind of films, right? Pam fights him off with a chainsaw, which was pretty badass. They actually filmed that on Halloween 1984. You get Tommy fighting off Roy, believes that he's Jason, and Tommy kind of gets fucked up, but he still proves to be the victor at the end. I think the way that they dispatch of Roy is pretty cool. I know a lot of people don't like the twist ending, the twist reveal of Roy. I think it's pretty cool. I think the motive was a little... They could have done something a little more with that. It's cool that they did do the let's make it a revenge killing because his son was killed. Sure, it's a little goofy that he had the picture of Jason in his wallet. Somebody had pointed out, I can't remember who it was or where it was, but just know that you are getting the full credit out there. Pointed out that perhaps there was a surveillance camera at the morgue in part 4 that caught Jason's likeness. And it's like, dude, or dudette. Again, because I can't remember who fucking pointed this out. But whoever pointed that out, you hit literally the most logical nail on the head. How no one else has ever thought about that. It's a fucking mystery, and we should all have our asses slapped for that. It was a little silly, and the overall ending was ridiculous in that it takes the ending that we don't get capitalized in part 4, and it does it again, but it takes it to the next fucking level. Says, okay, Tommy's going to definitely fucking most honestly 100,010% be the killer next time. Believe us. Okay. We'll see. It looks promising. What do we get? But we do still get the sort of a dream fake out, so that's pretty cool that this film's 4-1 on that as far as endings that actually made it into the film go. Because I know part 4 had the ending that was originally supposed to be the dream ending, but they cut it because it just didn't work, and I don't think it worked. But yeah, the ending though for this one was a little frustrating for a lot of people. I think I have more issue in the way they utilize the Tommy final jump scare scene more than anything, very much like I did in the last film. The score also I think is pretty cool. This one I think has the score that I hum the most, and I know I've been sucking Harry Manfredini's dick throughout this. I sort of shortchanged him I think in the first review, but as these are progressing, it's noticeable that it's like, you know what, I think Harry Manfredini's kind of fucking badass, and his scores are fucking great. I especially really like this one. It's the one I find myself humming the most. It's a little more explorative, like they continues to explore the soundscapes a little more, all while staying within the same basic motif. It's fucking brilliant. Also, I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds very much like, instead of the classic standard or ma ma ma, it sounds like instead of that it's going more of a as if to insinuate kill Tommy kill. Can someone else please listen to that and tell me that I am or am not losing my fucking mind on that? I would appreciate that, but it sounds very much like this is doing that in its motif, and that's pretty cool because it's playing with your fucking mind. It's like, Tommy's the killer. I do also need to take a quick second to say that it is fucking amazing that you have Demon and Vic Fadden in this film. Demon having been played by Miguel Nunez, and Vic having been played by Mark Venturini. They, as many people know, I'd need to point this out. I know it's pretty basic knowledge, but this was Spider and Suicide in Return of the Living Dead. There's just something about it. I lost my fucking mind when I saw that in Return of the Living Dead. There's something coming up about this here near the end. Going into negatives or lesser aspects of this film, as much as I enjoy most of the kills in this film, they're not as much to talk about. There's quite a few standouts, but they were kind of sort of cut pretty bad by the MPAA in this one. Allegedly, it had to be resubmitted 9 times before it got the R rating. Again, I mostly like these kills in this film, but there's almost too many to the point where we don't have time to really sit with any of these characters. This is the point where the franchise is really starting to get to that what are the characters really point. But I think the characters are still fun, so that's what makes it disappointing that they're all killed off in such a rapid fashion that we don't even get time to sit and develop with them. It would have been nicer to get some more development with the characters. That's probably why half of them are so goddamn forgettable. Yeah, that's honestly, I think it. Yeah, fuck, I thought I had a few more bummers to say about this film. Oh, yeah, this isn't a bummer about the film per se, it's just a bummer about the film's reception. People who don't like this film because Jason's not in it need to shut up, because that is a shallow way of thinking. Totally forgot to mention beforehand that my one issue with just the home video releases is that I never had the opportunity to own this on VHS. In part due to the VHS cover art, which is absolutely iconic. You look here, it's got the hockey mask with the square holes, no chevrons, fucking beautiful red light coming through it. Of course, you get this older DVD release here. Very basic cover art. This is the DVD copy I've had for fucking ever now. It's worn to hell, still good. Actually have here, it's funny, probably doesn't come through too well, but I sort of drew my own rendition of the old VHS box art. It's faded to hell, but hopefully you can see that pretty well. Of course, the Scream Factory box set. I was hoping to all things that this son of a bitch right here would come with the iconic VHS box art, but you see here we got Tommy or Roy. Most likely Tommy, because you can see it's the flannel. Not bad, but not the fucking VHS one by a long shot. And then for the reversible art, you've got the theatrical release poster that might be on the thumbnail, probably not though, we'll see. But yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to mention real quick. If there's a negative about owning this on home video, if anybody out there comes across a VHS copy of Friday the 13th Part 5 with that old box art shown here one more time, if you come across it, send it my way. That would just be really awesome. I will love you forever, and funny enough, I probably already do. Moving on to the filthy features, and as always, we start with the favorite kill, and fuck, because I said, I really do like a good portion of these. My favorite kill, I think I might have to go with, I can't pick one of them, so I'm going to pick both of them, seeing as how we people have two eyes. I'm going with the combination of Tina and Eddie. because eyeballs are a sort of motif of their death. We have, of course, Debbie, played by the terrific Debbie Sue Voorhees, getting her eyeballs fucking chopped the fuck out with the hedge clippers. A la Cropsy, practically. Eddie gets his fucking eyes crushed, like his eye socket area and fucking skull crushed by this fucking belt around a tree. Twisting a tree branch, which was pretty fucking sick. So both of their kills are very visual, despite being cut down for excessive gore. Their kills are both very visual centric, eyeball centric. So that was nice to have that little theme. Considering that they also had a voyeur in action there before they were getting ready to start fucking. Like, this dude's watching them. So that eyes and watching are sort of a weird ass theme, I think, going on in Tina and Eddie's kill scene. I don't know, maybe I'm just smoking crack for that one. I don't smoke crack. I will pee in a cup right now. Anyway, yeah, Tina and Eddie's kills, just because there's sort of that visual theme going on. And also they're pretty badass fucking kills. Naturally. Moving on to the smutty sightings, as I said already, Tina and Eddie were getting their fuck on. Apparently that was supposed to be like a whole ass 3-minute scene. And Danny Steinman notoriously is there like, come on dude, fuck her harder. Just grab her pussy, squeeze her tits. He was a porn director, so come on, cut the man some slack. Fucking Uncle Filthy Danny Steinman, fucking awesome. Anyway, that was supposed to be a 3-minute scene. It got cut down to 9 seconds. There actually is a great deal of gratuitous nudity throughout here, and I'm not complaining about that whatsoever. We get Debbie Sue Voorhees laying around topless. A very beautiful sight to behold. Get it? Because her eyes get ripped out. Lana at the diner also is got the glorious "It's Showtime" bit. Thank you. Robin, played by Juliette Cummins, we get her walking around, and this is actually her first of, I think, what I would call her trilogy of the 80s, being this film, Psycho 3, and Slumber Party Massacre 2. She gets progressively hotter throughout those films. Starting off cute here, getting fairly hotter in Psycho 3, and like, just goddamn wowzers by Slumber Party 2, I think. Anyway, that's besides the point. There are no lamps being played with and no walls to lick here. Yeah, it's nice to see her here naked, and she's walking around, like, this is literally, I think, the most useless nude scene, because she's just walking around a room topless. It's fun, it's whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's really about it. I mean, we get an instant where fucking Billy the cokehead dude is reading a fucking Hustler or something. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it outright. Unless there's something that was snuck into the film subliminally that I missed. Moving on to the Friday the 13th exclusive filthy features, we start with what is honestly my favorite. That is going to be the TGIF Pinup Girl, and this week, god damn, this one's actually got a decent selection. Man, very much do I want to say Debbie Sue Voorhees. I also want to say Juliette Cummings. But this might surprise some people. No, it's not Pam. It can't be Pam. It's Ethel Hubbard, guys. Ethel Hubbard is the TGIF pinup girl this week. She's gorgeous. She has the best potty mouth ever. Just fucking kidding. That is one fucking ugly bitch that goes there.
Would you shut the fuck up?
Honestly, I might have to go fucking with Tina and Debbie Sue Voorhees here. I mean, she's a brunette. She looks like a very fun person. She actually seems to be really into her guy. And sure, she just got the one sex scene in the film. But her character seems to actually be, like, there doesn't seem to be anything actually the fuck wrong with her or Eddie, let alone anybody at Pinehurst. But that's not the damn point. She seems to be a very down-to-earth, really just in love with her guy kind of girl, and I fucking appreciate that. It helps very much that she's beautiful. She's also beautiful, and she has nice eyes. Too much? Anyway, so yeah, Debbie Sue Voorhees as Tina probably is going to be the TGIF pinup girl. I will say that Robin is Miss Runner-Up for this episode this week. Taking a look at the Crystal Lake memory, this again was one of the earlier films that I saw. I can't remember particularly when, but I know this was after 6 that I saw it. Yeah, I saw the Tommy Jarvis trilogy in a really fucked up order. At least I saw this one second. It was sometime after 6, 3, and 2. I remember watching this and being mad because we're not seeing enough of Jason on screen. Come the end of the film, it made sense why, even though it still didn't make full sense. Like, wait, so it wasn't Jason, or did we get the H2O resurrection deal done on us? What happened there? So that kind of aggravated me as a kid. But I still enjoyed this film for, of course, the nudity, a lot of the character moments, pacing, what have you. But it's one that over time I've really come to appreciate all the more. In closing, guys, I think that Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, is a severely overlooked, almost criminally underrated entry of the franchise. It's one that I understand why a lot of people don't like. But with that said, I think it is one of the most appreciable entries for my money. This is definitely one that I would highly recommend watching. Sure, it's the least essential as far as watching goes, but goddamn, go out there, check it out. I personally love it. Honestly, guys, probably prefer this over the original. Friday the 13th Part 5 is fucking amazeballs, man. As always, thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like and share this video, and if you have not already, go ahead and stab the fuck out of that subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out the other Friday the 13th reviews that are coming out today by Good Real Hunting, Nick Cooling, Chase at Moser Movie Reviews, Robbie Sobel at Reviews and Rankings with Robbie Sobel, and check out the watch party over at House of the Living Dead tonight for Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. If you guys are feeling extra filthy, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Do you think that Return of the Living Dead may have been a drug-induced trance within Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning? Let me know what you guys think down below. And in the meantime, be sure to check out these social media links. Here you've got the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Patreon, the Stream Demons fan page over on Facebook. All those are worth checking out, so go ahead and jump over there. In the meantime, stay filthy.